All right, let me hit go live. Hey, there we are.
Hey!
Ooh, nice use of the Duras sisters there.
Yeah, it was requested in chat.
Perfection itself.
There it is,
I
right
must
there.
say.
I'm nestled nicely in between. just right in there.
Hey, Steve, I have only one question for you. One
What's
or
that?
both?
Both, of course.
One or both.
Two at a time, man. Two at a time.
To quote Riker, welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 292. Your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm Steve.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, usually some Star Trek. All super chats are run on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel, but if you really want to help support the channel, head on over to craftcomputing.store, grab yourself a pint glass, a coaster, all the good stuff that we got going over there right now, and start drinking like a pro. Last but not least, if you would like to join the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, easiest way to do that is go over and join the Patreon. It'll get you exclusive access to the Discord server. You can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there.
Yeah, that's right. Those are sweet looking pint glasses too. I love it. It's really cool.
I am so happy with how this whole thing turned out. And being able to do them in my garage. Like for those that don't know, I make these. I designed it, I sourced the glass, and then I cut it in my garage, and then I ship it to you. Like
you're really putting the craft back into craft computing. We're not talking about like glue sticks and cardboard cutouts,
little glitter.
Yeah.
It's how I like to do things. I've always been a hands-on guy. I have always been a DIYer first and foremost, and always I'd rather try to muscle through a project than outsource it. Except for yard work. Screw yard work. I hate every aspect of it.
I can't blame you there at all. It's been absolutely extremely hot here lately.
Yeah.
And I had to endure a yard work in that nice 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
It hasn't been fun.
Yeah, but my screw yard work comment, if I have like a large landscaping thing that I want to do, like we're going to be leveling our yard here probably the next couple of months or so. I'm going to do that. I'm going to completely do that myself. Get a dump truck of dirt in, buy all the bricks, lay them by hand, make sure, compact everything. I enjoy those type of projects. I hate mowing the lawn and trimming bushes and maintenance. I hate
maintenance
lawn
stuff.
Maintenance.
Yeah. So you have your wife do it, huh?
No, it's the one thing we outsource.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go.
People are saying really hot mic for Diablo. Oh, that might be the problem. Here we go. Let's try that.
Feels cool to me.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, I think John was on last, and I think he had a really cold mic, and so I ended up adding like a +10 to him, and then I never took it away.
Took it back down, yeah.
All right. That should be good now. Let me know if that is better for you all. Anyway, should be a good show tonight. Not a lot of big news.
No.
We can talk about the Twitter fiasco, and you better pay if you want to keep scrolling. Apple has asked the Supreme Court, in all of their non-biased opinions as of late, to potentially reverse the Epic Games Store decision from 2020, in which Apple was not allowed to block app developers and app makers from linking to outside payment platforms in order to just take 30% of whatever the app developer was trying to collect for their service. And this applies to, large services like Netflix, Amazon Video, and things like that. But Epic was the one who brought it. Apple wants that gone because they want their 30% back, obviously. Clippy is back from the dead, and the Far Cry source code, the original Far Cry, the original Crytek engine tech demo come game has leaked. So it'd be interesting to find out. I always love these source code leaks, not from a Not from a piracy standpoint or from a like let's mod the game to oblivion and back, but just to learn how some of the mechanics worked, especially like early engine games like Far Cry. I mean, Far Cry was essentially a tech demo.
Far Cry was one of the first big ones that's like, oh, if you can run Far Cry, then you got a nice rig.
Yeah,
type of thing.
Yeah, Far Cry was the precursor to Crysis, and Crysis was the we don't just want you to like be able to run the game maybe with top flight hardware. We want you to cry while doing it.
Well, same developers, so yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Right. Yeah. It was all developed by Crytek. Really interested to see as people can dig into that, what will we find as far as game development as a whole, and where are we at, and what things did they do that might surprise us back then. So
there's a whole section of code in there. It's like, make your PC cry. It's just right there. Just
right.
Throw in a bunch of extra CPU cycles for the fun of it, just to make people try.
There are some games that I almost want to accuse them of that, because there's some really stupid, simple things, and actually that's been a thing before. Not intentionally, but that's been a thing before. I believe it was Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Was it Odyssey, or was it the Paris? I think it was the Paris one.
No, it wasn't Paris.
Because that one was notoriously bad at release.
There's been a couple, but there was the instance I'm speaking to. I'm pretty sure it was Odyssey.
Okay.
Was the DRM used by Odyssey basically made a DRM check if there was any input at all from the joystick. Mm-hmm. So if you were using a gamepad or even a mouse, every time you moved, every time you caused a change in direction, it would use a CPU cycle to verify you could have access to the game.
Oh,
it was built into the mechanic of movement.
Oh man!
So what you ended up with was a constant handshake every time the camera was forced to do something different. And so the CPU requirement was off the chart for Assassin's Creed, unless you stood still.
Yeah, and then it was fine.
Let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and get the show started on our end. You said you had your beers ready to go. Let's get those going.
All right. So today I got this is a collaboration. I usually like to find collaborations from breweries that I really like, just to see what they do when they kind of play together in the same sandbox. This one's called Great Bones, and it's by Great Divide and Boneyard. And Boneyard is Pacific Northwest staple, basically. Tiny little brewery, but they make excellent IPAs.
Yes.
And everybody knows Great Divide. They're Colorado brewery. They do the Yeti Stout, most famously known for. So I'm pretty excited to try that one. See how it turns out. Next one is just leftover 4th of July beer. I just have a basic Deschutes. I think this is Tropical Squeeze.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we had 4th of July people come over. There we go. Look at that. There we go. It's probably your leftover 4th of July stuff too, right?
One of them is.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 beers. I don't know if I'll get to all 3 of them. Yeah.
There we go.
I got a 12, a 16, and a 19.
Nice.
And we're going from Bend to Astoria. So we've got Worthy Brewing from Bend, Oregon. Dreamboat IPA, and I have not had this one before.
I don't think I've had that one either.
I'm a huge fan. More of Worthy's. They have a Lights Out Stout, which is an amazing. I consider it a session stout. It's like 6% or something like that. And it's delicious. It is everything you want in a stout. All the right flavors, all that, deep, rich, smoky coffee, chocolate, but in like a super easy drinking, but not tasting like skim milk stout.
Right. Yeah.
But I've had a couple of their IPAs. They have a standard IPA. They just call the Worthy IPA. But yeah, Dreamboat IPA, 6.9% and 69 IPU. Double nice.
Nice. Yeah, I like Worthy's Sweet As. Their Sweet As is pretty good as well.
Yeah. Also from Bend, we've got a staple that Steve pretty much ruined already. I think you have the tropical squeeze. I have just the standard fresh squeeze.
Fresh squeeze. Yeah.
This is their fresh hopped IPA, 6.4%. Juicy, hop forward. Perfect. Like it's just good.
It is. It's just a good standard, great hazy beer. It's not like, oh my god, this is the best hazy ever. But considering I've had a lot of others hazies that are just not great at all, this is. I love a nice fresh squeeze. A lot of times, most bars around here, they typically, if they don't have a good beer selection, they'll at least have fresh squeeze. Yeah, at least the places I've been to.
Yes,
and so I'll always get that.
Yeah. And then I finally get to try this one. Speaking of collaborations with some of your favorite breweries, I finally got this year's three-way from Fort George.
Oh, nice.
So Three-Way IPA is an annual collaboration with Fort George and two other brewers. They will pick two other brewers and they will make a beer together. And it's based off of Fort George's Vortex IPA. And then whatever the other brewers want to bring to it. So it ends up being, slightly familiar, but every year is also vastly different. And it's always really fun. This year, it's Cellar Maker Brewing and Anchorage.
Yeah,
as
Anchorage.
The two.
I know. Yeah.
So I am very much looking forward to this one.
There's actually 3 varieties of the three-way IPA this year.
Yeah.
I haven't. Let's see. Did I have the blue one? I can't remember. There's like a pink one, a blue one, and a green one, and I think I had the green one.
Okay.
This one's called. What was it called again? It's just called three-way, but usually it says under the can it'll have something.
Yeah, all of them are just three-way IPA, but they're all a little bit different because right under the three-way label, this one is a collaboration between Anchorage, Cellar Maker, and Fort George. And I believe if you go to their website, so fortgeorgebrewery.com/3-way, it'll list what all the different variants have ever been. So
yeah, okay. I just looked at. So you got the blue can, so it's Chico Haze is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had the other two.
Yeah.
But that's the one I haven't had yet.
Nice.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, it just popped up in my store today, and I went,
oh,
yes!
Nice.
So,
there you go. There you go.
I'm going to start with that because it's the one I'm most curious with.
Yeah, I'm also curious about my collab too. I'm going to do the Great Bones as well.
Sweet. You really can't go wrong with a Great Notion collab.
Well, no, this is Great Divide, not Great Notion.
Yeah, Great Divide and Breakside, you said.
No, Boneyard.
Boneyard. Gosh, yeah. There's too many Portland breweries to keep track of.
No, you're not wrong about that.
No, Boneyard, probably one of their most famous ones is the, they make the F-bomb, right?
No, RPM IPA. They also do Hop Venom. They do the Hop
Venom. Yeah, the Cobra Kai IPA.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Cobra Kai Cobra on the front. Yeah.
Oh, no, Stickman is F-bomb. Excuse me.
Stickman. Stickman is in Lake Oswego.
Yeah. Speaking of Portland breweries to keep track of.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Cap and Tack chimes in with $2. Late here, but he's got a Rittenhouse Rye and Coke. Yeah. That's an excellent combination. I really cannot complain about that one. Michael says three-way IPA's got a 4.13 on Untapped. They're usually always up there.
Yeah, they're usually all pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this year that one is the highest rated. Let me think. Oh, no. The other one, the Hazy London Tropics, is a slightly higher. But yeah, I'm still looking for the Chico Haze.
Yeah. Yep. That is super citrusy, but also super dry right up front. I'm gonna need a couple minutes with this one. There's a lot of stuff to suss out in this one. Like,
well, sometimes I especially find this with hazies, is that as they warm up a little bit, not like room temperature warm, but as they warm up a little bit, a lot more of the citrus notes and fruit notes from the hops will come through.
Yeah.
When it's cold like that, you usually just taste the bitter part of the hop. So yeah, letting it warm up, it might change over time, because I kind of have the same complaint about mine. It's very dryish. It doesn't, you can't, that sweet malt doesn't really come through that much. And there's definitely the citrus hop is there, but it's not very juicy, I would say.
This is, I know you and John both had the pink can, right?
Yes, I had the pink can.
I believe both of you said you were super excited because Anchorage was on board, because we all love an 8.4% Anchorage IPA. Like, all of them good. Yeah. But you didn't get the Anchorage flavor.
No. It kind of wasn't there.
It's in here.
Is it in that one?
It's
okay.
in this one.
Okay. That's the one I'm looking for.
That's the like I said, it reminds me very much of an Anchorage hazy. And as you were kind of like walking through, like, you know, oh, it's super dry and that fruit note is there, but it's overly bitter and there's no malts or anything. I'm going, nope, all that is definitely.
Oh, it's still there? Okay.
It took so long to develop. So like while you were talking, I'm like, no, there it is. Okay.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, I had the other day. It was a Elysian one. It was called like Hazy 96 or something like that. And that one was really like almost lemon tasting to me. Like it had like, maybe there is a hop out there called Lemon Drop. And it does have a very
That's
tart,
how long from that
flavor.
drink it took for the malt to like settle right there at the bottom of
to
the
get in there.
Good. So it starts out very, very piney, citrusy, and but like I said, very, very dry and fairly bitter. And then the middle of the flavor, you get just a little bit of that kind of rich blood orange, I think, that we really expect from an Anchorage. And then you wait like 6 or 7 seconds, and there's this super rich malt way back here. Like it took forever, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, the one that we had the other day, the pink one, I think John was saying, I didn't look at this myself because I was busy, but I believe they used like a Kolsch yeast for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. They used a Kaiser Kolsch yeast, so it's kind of interesting, different style IPA.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I think on Untapped they kind of have a little more. Yeah, in fact, the yeast that they used for that is called Hazy Chico. That's why they call it a Chico Haze.
There you go.
But we got New Zealand Cascade, Strata, and Citra, and MBC 586, which is probably some experimental hop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see. We've got a couple drink shout outs here. We'll go ahead and give those out. William's got a Sociable Cider Works from Freewheeler Dry Apple. Or other way around, Freewheeler Dry Apple from Sociable Cider Works. 6.4%. Jason's got a Diet Dr. Pepper tonight. Let's see. Tech Guy is drinking Founders All Day West Coast tonight.
It's a good solid one. Solid one.
I have not had the All Day West Coast yet. I haven't seen it anywhere. Because All Day IPA is one of my favorite beers to just keep in my fridge, and
yeah,
I really want to know what their West Coast tastes like.
It's good. Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Slow Hardware wants to know if I would do a video on my Titan XP. I was actually looking at doing where does the Titan XP stack up to modern day budget cards, partially as a response to the 4060 video that I posted. You know, doing, again, just trying to take some different angles on things, about, you know, where is performance at, you know, over multi generations of cards, but kind of dialing in on some of those. By the way, if you are looking for a strong response or anything like that from any of the creators that I mentioned in the video as, quote, doing it wrong, I had a 1 hour interview with Steve from Hardware Unboxed last night, and
Oh, nice.
and that will be coming up on the channel likely on Friday. So had some great conversation with him, and again, he and I both have a great deal of respect for one another, and you know, it's great to, and the main thing I wanted to get out of that video was just kind of start a conversation about, like, is everything really crap today, or is there some room for nuance in reviews anymore? And it resulted in a conversation between, you know, one of the premier you know, video card reviewers that's out there right now, and it was a great conversation. So I'm looking forward to getting that published and getting it cut up, because it was a lot of fun. So, and thank you to Steve for agreeing to meet with me. So.
Oh, was it you who reached out to him, or was it the other way around?
A little bit of both. He left a comment with what he saw as criticisms of either my method or me criticizing him, and a little bit of a rebuttal. And we actually had out some of those issues within the interview. I said, you know, not to spoil anything, but one of his criticisms of me was, if you're not testing with like top-end CPUs, then you're inherently introducing a bottleneck, and that can lead to, like, you know, 20 or 30% performance differences across cards. And if you're talking about buying a $300 card, if you, let's say you upgrade your CPU 3 months later, would you have rather gotten the card that performed 30% better with the newer CPU, or the one that's stagnant with the new CPU? But then we took a look at each other's results. And the 4060 versus the 7600, my results, on average, it was 2% faster than the 7600. Steve's results was 1.5% faster. We were within 0.5% of each other as far as differential between those two cards, or less than one frame at 60 FPS. So, different testing methodologies and looking for different things, but both incredibly accurate when it comes to the actual numbers.
Yeah, very similar results, yeah.
And that was kind of what I wanted to show by testing a different way, is you can test a different way and still come up with very objective results that still need subjective explaining. And depending on your interpretation, that's where the review's at. So
I think we were hoping for some maybe gladiator style confrontation going on with this. Well, you discussed the merits of the results.
Well, as they say, don't fight outside your weight class. And with the exception of Jay's 2 cents, I will say I'm 6'4", so bring it on. Anyway, there was a comment I wanted to read on there. Michael says, I know you guys are Trekkies, but do you enjoy Stargate and the associated TV series as well? Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm primarily a Trekkie. It doesn't mean I don't like Star Wars or Stargate or Babylon 5 or The Librarians or Doctor Who, or, like, you get into any esoterica of sci-fi, I'm freaking there, man. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just Star Trek's what I like most.
Yeah, no, we do talk about a lot of sci-fi and stuff like that. I mean, we can talk Star Wars sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, especially when Rhett starts defending the prequels, and you got it. No.
I could kind of defend the prequels a little bit, given how much I didn't. Well, okay, the new movies, I didn't like the last two. The what was it? Not New Hope, or Force Awakens.
Yeah, the Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, those were terrible. The Force Awakens was okay. That one was okay.
I will say, and I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the same way about the J.J. Abrams movies with Star Trek because 2009 very much like the Force Awakens, you're giving homage to the old characters. You're giving them all the respect and their due and everything else. You're explaining a new story and you're carving your new path. And I went, I love it. I am so on board for a new character to take center stage.
Yeah.
And then we go right back to frickin' Wrath of Khan. And
yeah, I know.
Come on. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, they took
somehow
a
Palpatine's returned and they fly now.
Yeah, I know.
No. Bad. Stop it. Let's see. Craft Computing. David wants to know, when at LTX will you try some Canadian craft beers? Why else am I going there?
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do anywhere at any point, if I'm somewhere that's not home, is find a local brewery with a tap house and go like,
yes,
give me 2 flights.
I want to try it. Yeah, I want to try everything.
I want to try everything just to know what's out there.
What's the local flavor?
Yeah.
What do you guys taste like? I want to know. No, I do. I like finding like just the teeny tiny little breweries and stuff that almost no one ever gets to go to.
What was the one that we went to on the Strip in Vegas?
Oh no, that was Abel Baker.
Okay,
that place. Abel Baker is that.
I knew it wasn't tiny. You're right.
No, that wasn't tiny. But they were fairly new at the time.
Yeah,
and they're pretty well known now.
They were. Yeah, that was 2020 that we went there, and the 1 month you could travel in 2020. And they were amazing. Like,
they were good.
Like I had a couple of pints, and then I think you had like 2 or 3 flights, and we all just kind of tossed around. Oh man, that was good.
No, I know. I ended up buying a couple crowlers to take home because it was that good. It was. I don't normally do that because it's like, this is really good. So yes, if anybody ever goes Vegas, you definitely have to hit up Abel Baker. And not only is it great beer, you get little rubber duckies to take home.
Yes. I will be there in 4 weeks. So
that's right. That's right. You're going to DEF CON.
I'm going to go to DEF CON, yeah. So I'll be going to LTX. I'll be getting home from LTX probably Sunday night or Monday morning. And then I'm going to do the show here on Wednesday. And then Thursday, like Thursday morning, or maybe even like a red eye Wednesday, I'm going to fly out to DEF CON and stay there until Sunday. So
busy. And
then the next week, I think I'm going to Seattle for another thing that I can't announce yet. And then there was another trip as well that was like starting to look like a possibility, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna spend like half of August not home.
Oh, that'll make your wife happy.
All right, well, tell you what, before we jump into the news, let's tell everyone about our sponsor. And of course, today's episode of Talking Heads is brought to you by, if I can find the right button, Linode.
Hey, Linode.
Hosting your own servers also means you get to host all your own problems, and even the most skilled chief engineers will tell you should decentralize your network. So why not host your services with Linode? If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. That includes most of the software and tutorials that you've seen on my channel, like how to run your own ad blocking, recursive DNS servers, VPN gateways, your own cloud-based Plex servers, and more. They offer shared CPU plans for as little as $5 per month and can scale as high as you need to go, whether it be virtualized hosting, dedicated enterprise GPUs, or NVMe block storage. Even if you do host your own servers, you can use Linode to keep a backup off-site, because remember, RAID is not a backup. Linode is also expanding at light speed, with 12 new global data centers planned before the end of 2023. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing and get a $100 60-day credit just for signing up for a new account. Again, that's linode.com/craftcomputing, and a huge thanks to Linode for continuing to sponsor Talking Heads and Craft Computing.
Thanks, Linode. They've hung in there this whole time.
That's right.
No matter how many times I find things to rhyme with their name.
Yes. Linode, you won't explode.
Yeah, commode. Toad, flowed, blowed, all kinds of stuff.
Why can't it just be Linode, Steve?
Come on, it's not as fun. It's just not as fun.
Fair enough. All right. I guess let's get to our first story, and that is that Canonical, the team and company behind Ubuntu, made some waves with people who probably didn't understand what this announcement actually is or meant, or who actually owned this project before. But Canonical has taken control of LXD. That is the open source container management extension for LXC containers, or Linux containers. That is not virtualization, but kind of the open source variant of Docker. And why did Canonical take this over? Well, Canonical is the primary developer and publisher and maintainer of the code base anyway. So it kind of makes sense to bring it on board. And webcam just dropped out there for a second. Anyway, makes sense to bring it in-house with the rest of your in-house services and technologies and things like that.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to support LXD at arm's length, that is, LXD had their own website, their own forums, their own Git repositories, their own everything. They existed almost entirely outside of Canonical and Canonical's web footprint. And so if you were looking for information on LXD, you would have to go to their site rather than just going to Canonical and getting all of the experts all in one place. And so this is not like a hostile takeover of an open source thing that some people accuse them of doing. This is literally consolidation of where you can find information based on who publishes and creates that information. And in this case, it's Canonical. There's a lot of blood in the water right now. Thank you, Red Hat, for the killing of open source and the retraction of all this stuff. And I will say this was probably a wrong place, wrong time style announcement to a lot of people who are going, well, Red Hat's going completely closed source and they're charging for everything, and they're, you can't even look up the code anymore, and now Canonical's doing the same thing. No,
they're not doing it. They're just moving it around. They're just making it a little more easier.
They're just putting all their resources onto their website because they're already the prime contributor. And they've also so Canonical Linux Containers, who has been the overall maintainer but not the contributor to LXD, says Canonical, the creator and contributor of the LXD project, has decided that after over 8 years as part of the Linux Containers community, the project would now be better served directly under Canonical's own set of projects. While the team behind Linux Containers regrets the decision and will be missing LXD as one of its projects, it does respect Canonical's decision and is now in the process of moving the project over. This includes things like the LXD YouTube page and forum pages and things like that. This isn't as bad as it seems. I will say that.
I don't think it's bad at all, actually. It's probably a lot better.
Right.
And less confusing to some people as well.
Completely agreed. Especially because, like I said, they were the creator and already the primary contributor, and basically outsourcing the day-to-day maintenance of the forums and the Git to someone else. Why? Why not just do that in-house? And so, as of pretty much this morning, the code base has been migrated under Canonical's GitHub page. You can look up all the source material there. Nothing has changed. No licensing has changed. It's all the same. It's just a little bit different from a upper level maintenance and support type level.
Yeah, so now it's under, I think, ubuntu.com/LX or LXD,
Yes.
So instead of going to Linux containers, it's just there. That's all it is.
Correct.
And I think it even looks the same. I don't think really much has changed.
Yeah. As long as Canonical doesn't become the Google of Linux. Canonical... Zachary chimes in. Hold on. I always welcome Zachary's opinion. I'm a heavy user of LXD, and I welcome this move. Exactly. This is not some evil plot or anything like that. And the more centralized you can get information from the primary contributors, the more streamlined the whole process is going to be. And to me, it's never really made sense that it was under a different umbrella. And especially for so long. I mean, this is an 8-year-old project. Secondly, to the point of as long as Canonical doesn't become the Google of Linux, Canonical would need to make money for that to happen, and the only money they make is basically on like support services for large enterprise. Like, go to the web. Where do they make money? Canonical doesn't make a lot of money. They're not a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
They maintain Ubuntu as a kernel, or not as a kernel, but as a distribution of Debian Linux. And they maintain a lot of open source projects. And sure, they make money to maintain those projects from various organizations and things like that, but they're not exactly raking in hand over foot a la Red Hat to do all this. And so I don't think you have to worry about.
Well, I think they also, I think, because I'm reading here that they have an IPO plan this year. Canonical does.
Yeah.
So I guess I can see how some people would be worried if they're making that type of move.
I am a little worried about that move, but I think we'll get there when we get there. Is kind of my standpoint, because whenever you become beholden to shareholders expect a certain amount of growth, and they always expect growth.
Yes.
So, and not linear growth.
Yeah, they don't want a straight line.
Yeah, trust me, it's really frustrating when you deal with people who go like, well, I'm going to give you 10,000 today, but that better be 100,000 back in my pocket next year. It's like, boy, yeah. I freaking hope so. But secondly, I might get you 12. Like, if I make you 100,000, I'm doing something right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I'm not that happy about the IPO plan, because it will be about the shareholder profit instead of what's best for the community. Right. And yeah, that is one of the biggest arguments to that. And obviously, Canonical has their fingers in a lot of different Linux pies as far as open source projects and maintenance and contributions and things like that. But they're also not the only horse in the race. You've got, System 76. You've got obviously Arch and Manjaro. There are far other things that are out there that, yeah. Cool. Doc says, hey guys, serious question, followed by absolutely nothing.
There we go. Oh.
By the way, slow mode's on, so you need to wait 30 seconds before typing your question in, so it's best to just put it in one question.
One question.
You caught me in between breaths, and now I don't know if we can circle back. This one. Oh boy. I'll try not to get too political here. Apple is asking the Supreme Court to undo the App Store order in the Epic Games case, because now they may have people who can be swayed by, I don't know, maybe an Apple Vision Pro showing up in their mailbox. Thomas does like the simple things in life, after all. Apple said on Monday the U.S. Supreme Court will hear its challenge to a judge's order in the antitrust case brought by Fortnite maker Epic Games that could force the iPhone maker to change payment practices in its App Store. And by the way, I'm quoting the Reuters article directly, because I don't want to get any of this wrong. Apple said in a court filing it will ask justices to take up its appeal of a ruling on Friday by San Francisco-based Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals that kept in place most of the order issued in 2021 by U.S. districts. The judge's order said Apple could not prohibit developers from providing links and buttons to payment options in their apps that take customers outside of the App Store, a step that could reduce sales commissions paid to Apple. Again, the whole forced contribution for a forced monopoly within an organization from the people who are supposed to be about the free market deciding. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to get political. I'm fully political on this one.
I don't know necessarily as necessarily political. I mean, it's more of like you should be able as a business to control your own destiny,
your own income sources, your own revenue sources.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The biggest mistake I could do as a YouTube creator is relying on YouTube solely for my income.
Yeah, that would be
And
most
whatever decision,
don't do that.
And whatever decision they make, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine with me. No, because I have other revenue sources, I have a voice in this, and I can choose to take my content elsewhere. I can put it behind a paywall. I can offer it on a website and just host my own video. I can. There are so many other options that I have, and that's not even just from the revenue stream side of things. I mean, yes, I do a lot of pre-roll ads. But I usually try to keep them either A, humorous so you watch them, or B, at least industry parallel, so it's not just some stupid thing, you know.
You're not
join the latest Bitcoin exchange that will fail and steal all your money in a month and a half.
And we're Steven Seagal Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
Yeah. Strangely enough, he's been arrested. He's has a warrant out for fraud, so you know it all works.
Oh, does he?
I know he was being heavily investigated for fraud based in that whole circumstance.
Really?
Remember that dude who was like totally the Bitcoin bro on that?
Yeah,
stream?
he was like, no, it's real, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah,
Raid Shadow Legends is kind of tangential. I mean, we talk about gaming here sometimes, but I don't know any gamer who actually plays Raid Shadow Legends. Does anybody ever play that? Did anybody ever play it?
This last week, I heard for the first time someone mention Raid Shadow Legends, non-ironically.
Really?
In real world. In real life. One of my daughter's friends has a phone and plays Raid Shadow Legends.
Does she say she likes it? I mean, obviously she must like it if she talks about it.
And I don't know if you can see him anymore. No.
Sorry.
No, he enjoys the game, and it's the first instance I've found of, number one, someone playing the freaking thing, but number two, like enjoying it. You know, I had friends back in the day who played like Clash of Clans and Farmville and things like that, and you know, to each their own. You know, I don't discriminate on, you know, what your taste in video games might be, even if they're not mine. But no, it's kind of one of those things like, this is the first time I've heard Raid Shadow Legends not in a sarcastic tone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my son, I mean, he's okay, granted, he's not very old, so he likes watching YouTubers that play Minecraft and stuff like that, little kid stuff. But you know, I've not seen any of those people actually streaming and playing Raid Shadow Legends and people like wanting to tune in to watch it or anything like that. But I do see them trying to pimp it. I even watched like a couple cooking YouTubers and they were pimping Raid Shadow Legends, which doesn't seem really in their wheelhouse. Like,
right. I mean, I watch a lot of automotive YouTube. That's one of my rabbit holes that I'll get lost in. And oftentimes, automotive YouTubers will pimp Raid Shadow Legends or whatever the current, you know, pay to win game is, and things like that. And you know, I don't begrudge them a payday, because if they
no, I don't either.
Right,
but...
and I've said, if Raid Shadow Legends is willing to, you know, sponsor, like, hey, I'm gonna build a petabyte raid, this video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends, like, let's make it a parallel to the video and make it an ironic thing that you're sponsoring, but also my price is fairly high, because do you know how lambasted I will be on my
if you start spitting
unless it's funny.
Yeah.
Because there is a line there, and you know, I like to think of my audience as fairly intelligent, and you know, we all do, and they can tell if it's just for a payday, but at the same time, why would you begrudge someone a payday if that's their job? Like, anytime I hear someone begrudge someone doing a Raid Shadow Legends lad, I always say, you don't tip for pizza, do you?
I tip for pizza. Because next time they come deliver the pizza, it's going to be crushed or peed in.
Right. But it's one of those things. It's like, don't we all deserve to get paid? And, sometimes this might be the way I get paid. And now I've heard at least one person likes Raid Shadow Legends, so why not?
I think that's who they're targeting. I mean, because like you said, I know people who played Clash of Clans and Farmville and stuff like that. Those are usually the casual gamers that aren't really into it that much. They just want to pick up and play it when they're bored once in a while. So that's probably what Raid Shadow Legends is. I don't know. I've never played it before. After this conversation, I'm kind of curious. I might even want to like download it and try it just to see what it is. But I think that's who they're targeting.
Hey, Steve, you should download Raid Shadow Legends and write me a review.
All right.
You should totally do that. I want to know what it's like. Like I know it's a role-playing, as in like you buff your character and you fight larger and badder, bad guys and things like that. Like,
right.
I understand the main thing of that. And in fact, there's games that I played way back in the day. Gosh, what was the one that came out for iPhone? Like on the iPhone 4, that was taking advantage of like their first Metal API. That was the Sword Slasher game. It was,
Fruit Ninja.
No.
Oh, not Fruit Ninja. Not that one?
It was this medieval steampunk themed.
I don't know what that one is.
You had a guy with a giant sword, and you had to fight bosses up until the final boss, and it was kind of like a roguelite. Where you would rank up your character and get stronger weapons and then try to, conquer the Colosseum again. And it wasn't pay to win. There was no DLC or bonus packs or turn limits or anything like that. But I play that style game all the time. And so, write me a review of Raid Shadow Legends. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be interesting because I'm not a big mobile gamer. I cannot get behind mobile gaming.
Infinity Blade. Thank you.
Infinity Blade.
I knew someone would have it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never really got into mobile gaming. I just the form factor, I just don't like how it, I mean, small games like Candy Crush or something. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Touchscreen.
Right.
But that's like something you do when you're bored on an airplane or something like that. It's not.
Well, the thing is, Infinity Blade was built so you could play it in like 3-minute spurts, and you beat 2 enemies and you progress up like this castle and you need to reach the top and so kind of like a game progression a la like the old Mortal Kombat. You fight enemy to enemy to enemy and different levels and things like that. But yeah, like I've totally played games like that. So if that's what that is, okay. Like,
yeah, the only games that I really enjoyed on mobile are like the puzzle games, like Monument Valley and stuff like that. Those were really good.
Yeah.
I did enjoy those because they also play real well with the form factor. Some of these things that have like first person shooters on there and stuff like that, I can't stand how they're controlled on a phone. I just can't get behind them.
By the way, Infinity Blade 1, 2, and 3 are on archive.org.
Oh, there we go.
So there you go.
We'll do it. I'm gonna go download Raid Shadow Legends and I'll talk about it next time I'm on.
Oh, Infinity Blade was an Epic Games Studio game.
Was it really?
That's amazing.
That really ties right in. That ties right into it.
We have come full circle.
All right, look at that. Wow, it's like we almost planned it or something.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Infinity Blade isn't on iOS anymore because it's built on Epic's Unreal Engine. Yes,
that's right.
It's
that's
an
why
Epic
it's not
Games
there.
game.
Yes. My gosh.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Don't they have like 'cause I've seen a lot of people doing this now. They'll make the mobile version, but then they'll also just port it to PC because they can.
I haven't seen any ports of this. So Yeah. Be interesting to.
It's the epicgames.com Infinity Blade. Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to sideload it onto my iPad or something and see what
Yeah,
happens.
there you go. And it's only iOS. I'm kind of surprised why
iOS only. Yep.
It's kind of weird. I mean, there's some Android phones that are plenty powerful enough that'll run it.
Oh, probably. I mean, this is a game that's 13 years old at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, getting some beef from Apple will be like, fine, I'll take my toys and go play in Android's box. Yeah,
in their non-walled sandbox.
Yeah, in their non-walled sandbox, the side-loading sandbox.
Yeah. How's your beer doing?
Actually, you know what? I'm liking it a little bit more now that it's warmed up a little bit. Those citrus hops are coming through a little bit more. I'm still not getting much malt flavor though. It's still pretty dry. Not like a brute or anything like that, like a brute IPA, but it's still kind of on the more hoppy side, a little drier, more subdued, not as sweet, but still pretty good. I like it a little bit more because there's more fruit flavors coming through, more tart notes. So kind of almost like a sour orange or something like that.
Okay.
Pretty good.
This one has smoothed out right in the middle.
Good.
Before there was kind of this gap where it was so dry and the hops were so bitter that even though you got like this really good flavor up front, there was almost like this hole in the flavor where more flavor should be before,
but it wasn't there.
before like the blood orange and then that final malt kind of kicked in. Now the opening flavor, especially the hops, instead of being uber bitter, they've rounded out, and so
nice.
It's more of like starts up here like citrusy and really dry, and then just kind of rounds down, and then it blood orange, and then the final finish. I'm digging this one. Like and thinking back, I think I did have the pink can as well. I think I had that 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I thought the same thing. I went like, this is not an Anchorage beer, and it doesn't really taste like a great Fort George beer. Like it's okay, but it's not the level I expected. This is the level I expected.
Okay,
this is the one.
That's the one I've been looking for, because that's the last one I need to get. And I'll have to do that too, because let it warm up a little bit, not to the level of like a stout or something like that.
No, it's probably 45 right now, and I think that's probably the upper limits of where you'd want to drink it.
Right, exactly.
My fridge, I keep it fairly cold. I keep it about 36 instead of that 38 to 40. So you don't
more
than
want
45.
You don't want it close to room temperature like a stout or something like that. But you don't want it ice cold, like, That's why they always say to drink the Coors at ice cold. That's ice cold, like the Rocky Mountains.
Cold as the Rockies, so you don't have to taste it.
They don't want you to taste it. They don't want you to taste what it actually tastes like.
Exactly. Rice and disappointment.
Exactly. Tastes like the Donner Party.
But like day 4. All right. So the Twitter man-child rant ensues. I didn't link to the original video, but apparently Elon's pissed off now about people are scraping data from Twitter, and it's gotten excessive. I think this whole situation was summed up quite nicely by David August over on Mastodon. Because Twitter, at its peak, built a reputation of being able to relay that earthquakes were happening before people felt earthquakes in their area. Like, they would outpace a natural disaster.
And that's why it was big with reporters and news and everything like that. It was things developing. You would look there first.
Right. and I started using Twitter in much the same way because we've had a couple of very minor earthquakes here. There's been a couple tsunami watches while I have family over on the coast and things like that. And if there's any warning of that, I will immediately jump on to NOAA or any of the other number of Twitter feeds and either get verification or debunking or whatever else of whatever's going on. And it used to be one of my primary news feeds. However, Twitter passed a new policy, seemingly on a whim. I'm just guessing it was on a whim.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That only verified, which means you pay Twitter $10 a month. Not the old verified where you actually, were a person of note. Now you just get a check mark because you paid Elon $10. Now, verified users can view up to 6,000 posts per day. Non-verified users can only view 600 posts per day. And new accounts can only view 300 posts per day. I have two problems with that. Number one, where's my unlimited scrolling? Number two, if you don't want to pay $10 a month, 600 posts, that's an average bathroom session.
Yeah, I know. That's not much.
You're not giving me much to work with here. I'm going to have to go back to Reddit.
I think they actually there was a lot of complaint, and I think they went and bumped it up to 800 instead of 600. But I think they're going to eventually just get rid of it because it's probably one of his most unpopular decisions ever.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, yeah. No one likes it. Everybody's making fun of it.
Yeah.
You might be right. It could be due to people scraping the site and trying to.
No, this is all in an attempt to create more monetization for the platform because Twitter's always lost money, and then Elon's big mouth got in front of him and he goes, "I'll pay $40 billion for it." It's like, ha ha ha. Okay. Cool. You want to write that check now, please? Because you said that in a public forum, so it's kind of you have to. And now he just wants to make it profitable and monetizable. The problem is, it's not in its current form. And so how do you get that way? Well, let's charge anyone who wants a check mark by their name, because that's a mark of prestige, $10 a month. Let's not piss off advertisers. Oh crap, we went way above and beyond pissing off advertisers. I guess we have to pass the buck further on to users to incentivize them to pay money to our platform now that it's hemorrhaging users and influence and things like that. So let's just limit the amount of time that people can spend on it, because that's a great way to grow a platform.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens soon. Because they're no longer a publicly traded company, so they don't have to necessarily release their financials or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, we will see. But I agree, this kind of a dumb thing, because I like Twitter for just like you said. I just want to scroll through it and looking at the news, seeing what's recent. Yep. Just like you, I have like local feeds for earthquakes and fires and other kind of reports that I want to know about. When we had those fires here a couple years back,
you're looking for evacuation notices for yourself, but family and things like that.
That's where I went. I went to Twitter first to look to see, because there was the Marion County was giving me updates and evacuations and stuff like that. Not only for me, but because I got family that lives in the area and I want to know about it too.
Right.
So I mean, the use case for this is it seems to be counter to what people like about it. So I kind of predict it'll probably go away, and you're probably right. He's looking for ways of generating revenue, and he's just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. Oh, there goes your camera again.
No, hold on. I got this. I got it. For some reason, my camera is lagging behind, and I think it has to do with the... I'm trying to capture 4K on the camera, and I think OBS is doing some weird things, and so eventually it's like desyncing as I go along. Um,
I thought you were trying to put the shadow back into Raid Shadow
Legends. Right. No, we got 2 out of 3 now. Now I need
you
some
got
legends.
Raid, you got the Shadow, and you need some legends in there.
I need to get Carl Jobst on the show, and then we'll have legends. So
yeah.
No, so I'm looking for the capture mode because I'd like to switch it just to 1080p, but I don't see where that's at in the software because you can choose 4K 30, 1080 60, 1080 30, 720 60, 720 30. Not finding that. Should be here somewhere. Anyway, I'll continue looking while we're all doing this. Yeah, no, this to me screams of I need a way to quickly return some of my ill-spent money. And because it's like, oh, you want Twitter verified? What's $20 a month? And everyone went, $20? Screw that. And he went, okay, how about $7? And he's just literally throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah. And I don't know if he could possibly make worse decisions to end the company faster if that were his goal.
Have they actually? I don't know because he just wrote that out. Have they actually implemented? Because I have not hit.
It has been implemented.
Scrolling yet.
Yeah,
I haven't hit a wall yet.
I uninstalled Twitter about 6 weeks ago from my phone. So I will occasionally, maybe once or twice a week, log in on the computer. I'll check up with a couple of people I want to keep in touch with. Make a couple of responses. Every once in a while, post something like, "Hey, we offer pint glasses now. Check out craftcomputing.store." But it's not literally a thing that's tied to my phone anymore, and that was very intentional because
I haven't changed my habits at all, and I can't say I'm on there a whole lot, but I haven't hit a limit yet myself, so I don't know.
So you know how I do the follow Steve on? Oh wait, you can't. Or have you read tonight's?
No. What was it? Where is it? Where am I looking?
It's in the video description.
Oh, okay. That's covered up right now.
About midway down. Follow Jeff on Mastodon at craftcomputing at hostx.social. Follow Steve.
Oh, so wait. Rate limit exceeded. Okay.
Follow Steve on Twitter. Oh, rate limit exceeded. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to reveal it finally, but sorry.
There it was. Not too bad. Rate limit exceeded.
Yeah.
No, I probably should put something up somewhere, some account. I mean, I have one, but I can't.
I'm on Mastodon. I'm not thrilled with it. No. I've met some awesome people over there and whatnot, and I like the defederated nature of it, where it's an individual instance of a server that is API compatible with other servers, and you can view just your own server or view global feeds or anything in between. Right. I really like that. I like that aspect of it. The downside is a lot of the audience, you think Twitter is a fickle bunch. Mastodon seems like even more so sometimes, with their leap to defense of everything. And I'm one who is like, if you feel offended, say it and let's work through why, and we'll figure out, are you right? Was I wrong? Let's change. Let's, I'm not perfect, and I always strive to grow and, make sure I'm saying the right thing. But at the same time, anyone who says something about the other app, about Twitter,
right.
You will start flame wars within Mastodon by just saying, hey, I, came to Mastodon because, Twitter's the garbage fire now. It's like, oh, why don't you just go back to Twitter then? It's like, okay, right. Let me not be on here and talk to you people. There was an instance of someone got really offended because a lot of people were referring to themselves as Twitter refugees flooding to Mastodon, which it's a dark term, but it's not exactly an inaccurate term. And in fact, for a while, my bio said, I'm a Twitter refugee, same as you all. What are we doing here? I make videos and drink beer. Like, that was my bio. Because, hey, I'm new to Mastodon because I spent all of my time on this other site until it became a steaming pile of crap. What's going on here was kind of... Yes, it's a dark term. It has a lot of weird implications, but it's like, well, if you weren't a war refugee, you wouldn't use... Or if you were a war refugee, you wouldn't use that word. Mm. And I'm like, I didn't exactly use a slur. Like...
Yeah, it's just a term. It's,
right.
Yeah, some people get overly sensitive.
So there's a lot of oversensitivity, and to be fair, and this is from a very outsider's perspective, there's a lot of marginalized groups who felt persecuted on other platforms who moved to Mastodon so they could simply exist. And there might be something to that race to be defensive because they've been marginalized on every other platform. And when you even, hint at marginalization of a refugee, you're in the wrong place. And so it's like, I get both sides of it, but the word refugee means outcast from a hellish landscape. And there couldn't be a more accurate word for it in the dictionary right now of why people are flooding to Mastodon and Blue Sky and all these other platforms.
Well, yeah.
So
that's a good thing.
Let's meet in the middle here, okay?
It's a good thing Tom Petty passed away. He might have a little explaining to do with his song. And
right. So, but yeah, that's been my experience over there.
Okay.
A lot of really cool people. I've met some really fun people. I enjoy a lot of the conversations that happens over there. I'm already 20% the size that I was on Twitter. Like I've got a pretty decent following over there, and it's another place to engage in a great conversation, which is always my goal as being on social media. But
you kind of want to find good avenues for growing your channel, and so if it works, it works.
Right, exactly. Anyway, as a consequence of this snap decision of like, we have to find a way to monetize, we have to find a way to get people to pay us the $10 a month so they can be verified. What if we don't let them scroll anymore unless they're verified? Like, is $10 a month worth 6,000 posts? We're not going to let them scroll forever because we don't have the server resources for that. Paraphrasing what I assume is a coke fueled rant. But David August over on Mastodon says Twitter, once the most powerful real-time information system ever built, is so much so someone accidentally live tweeted the death of bin Laden. That was a thing. Now not only can be used to save Sorry, let me put it on here so I'm not trying to look back and forth. Now, not only can't be used to save lives from bad weather, but won't even let the existence of bad weather be seen by people who follow bad weather. Let that sink in. The one service in the world that has ever outpaced earthquakes, tornadoes, natural disasters, tsunamis, everything else, and was one of the go-to sources for literally second-by-second breaking news, has limited the views to the point where even if you're specifically following for something like that, if you saw too many memes that day on the toilet, you're not going to get warned about this anymore.
Yeah.
I can see the disgust in the Duras sisters behind you too.
They're super happy about it, actually.
So there's been a lot of different agencies coming out. NWS Wakefield, I'm assuming this is Wakefield, Virginia. Due to new limits on the number of tweets an account can view per day, we may be unable to see tweeted reports of severe weather and associated damage. Please contact our offices directly with any reports via phone.
Going back to phones, huh?
Right. Now all I can see is Elon going, well, there's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter was one of the main sources of, has a tornado touched down? Even with 100 years of advancements in radar technology, the best thing you can do is have eyes on when a funnel cloud decides to go, and get that early information about heading, speed, everything. And now, if you watch too many reposted TikToks, sorry, you're just gonna die.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I have other apps too now that I use for like weather related and emergency related stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're right. There's, especially for news and breaking stuff like that. Twitter has always been those that have been right where you go first to find things out. And if you exceed your limit, then I guess, oh well, I'm done with news for the day. I guess the world stops giving me news.
Right.
That doesn't seem like a really good way of keeping people on the platform. They're just going to go other places at that point. Once they hit that limit, they're going to go, like you said, I'll just go Reddit. I'll go back to Facebook.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Okay, I think I found the setting for the OBS bot camera, the Tiny 2. There's not a setting in the application itself to define what the output resolution will be, but instead, inside of OBS, you can define what resolution the webcam will capture at.
Gotcha.
And so, all of a sudden, my video is keeping sync now. Even though I have this on a USB-C port, again, the one thing I found in my review, the one thing that I could complain about was that sometimes the 4K 30, it's a little bandwidth heavy, and unless you have absolutely the right decision, that is the right cable and the right port, and all of the bandwidth available, it might struggle a little bit. And that's what we've been seeing tonight, as my video has lagged behind my audio ever so slightly the entire time. I just changed it to 1080/30, and I'm right back on. So so there we go.
Yeah, I like that. I like that little camera, that review you did on it. It looks pretty slick.
So like I said, I swapped out entirely my old camera system, which was a Zcam E1 and a giant, Canon.
I remember the Zcam.
Lens.
Yeah. I remember that.
Now it's this big, and I've got nice background separation, but good dynamic range. You can see the highlights and the shadows. They're all exposed properly. And is it as good? No, but it's pretty darn good.
And for the size, it's just a tiny little thing.
Yeah. I did turn off all the gesture controls because even when I was doing my interview with Steve, I think that was Monday night, I talk with my hands a lot. And so all of a sudden the camera would go and like frame up there. I was like, no, go back, and then it'd frame out. And it's like, no, I don't want you to see everything. I want it here. And then midway through the interview, it started tracking me, and it's like, oh crap. So I turned the gesture controls off. But I think that's more of a me situation. Making too many things at the camera. So
got all kinds of crazy funky.
Yep. All right. I think it's second beer time, and then we can jump into our next story.
You bet. Are we both hitting the Deschutes now?
I picked mine up in case you were.
Yeah, so. There we go. That's the only one I got left here. Usually I have 3 beers, but this is like I only have 2.
Yeah. So Deschutes Fresh Squeezed, and in Steve's case, it's the Deschutes Tropical Squeezed.
That's correct.
So 2 variants of the same.
Correct. This one's got more of a pineapple, tropical flavor to it. Yeah. I've had it before. It is quite good. Like all the squeeze series that they have is pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that pineapple right off the bat.
Versus this one is boy, how do I explain that? I don't want to say hop forward because I feel that's a cop out on what that flavor actually is.
Yeah. That's an IPA. It's going to be hop forward.
It's going to be hop forward, but what kind of hop? What fruit?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
pine? Gosh, what is that flavor? It's not a citrusy flavor, and it's
No, I think fresh squeeze because I think they use more traditional Northwest IPAs, not like the Citra ones and the
right.
I think it's more like Cascade. I think they do a lot of Cascade.
It's a Cascade and Chinook, I believe, is what they use.
I'm gonna see if I can look it up.
Yeah. It's a little bit more approaching. It's a little more dank without being grassy.
Right.
Is kind of what I want to describe it as. Where it.
Oh, we're both wrong. It's Citra and Mosaic.
Really?
That they use. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever swung and missed that hard before.
Yeah, I know. Well, to be fair, okay, Citra does have a more tropical flavor. Mosaic does not. Mm-hmm. But Mosaic is a good hop. So maybe they put more Mosaic than they did Citra.
Okay.
And that could be what it is.
Yeah. Their description is impossibly juicy, undeniably refreshing, freshly squeezed. No fruit was harmed in the making of this beer. And I will say it is very, very juicy without being sweet.
Yeah.
Where it's more like a rhubarb kind of thing, where it's very fruity and juicy without being sweet, and in fact it's more towards the bitter side of things, but it's a very full flavor. I think it's the best way to describe it.
It is good. And I think Deschutes is distributed nationwide, isn't it?
Yes.
Most people can pick this up. So
yeah. In fact, Deschutes was I spent a week in middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
And they had Deschutes out there?
And when we were out there, we were constantly trying to find, like, hey, what's the local flair? And everyone's like, have you tried Spotted Cow? And it's like, yeah, the first day.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what you think it is. Like, it's all right. But what I don't want is a pale ale that's back sweetened with corn.
Yeah, that's what it was, like a really sweet pale ale is what Spotted Cow tastes like.
And what's really funny is when I was there, it was actually advertised in like the material. Like you would read the description of the beer, and it said back sweetened with corn. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. And then there was a whole
corn syrup.
Then there was a whole pushback about like corn syrup and beer, and because of like the Budweiser versus Miller thing.
Right.
And all of a sudden, that language disappeared from Spotted Cow literature. It's like it's got a corny sweetness now instead of being back sweetened with corn, which is verbatim what it said.
Sweetened with maize to make it sound like more Native American.
Yeah, maze.
Maze.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's like, we had the Spotted Cow the first day. I wasn't going to drink that the entire time I was there because honestly, it's not as good as you people think. But I think we flew in on a Sunday, and the hotel we were staying at, they go, "Oh, we have a tap room, really nice restaurant with a tap room and everything. We got like 14 taps." And it's like, "Okay, let's go there." Miller Lite, Milwaukee's, Bud Light, Spotted Cow, and that was it.
Okay.
Like there wasn't a hef, there wasn't a single pale or an IPA or anything. It was nothing but domestics and Spotted Cow, and that was every single bar we went to.
Right. To be fair, there's a few bars like that around here.
Yeah.
They'll just have domestics, and then they'll have like fresh squeeze or
and
Widmer's Hefeweizen or something like that.
Right. But the word tap house means something completely different over there than it does.
Yes, I know. Our tap house is you better have at least 30 beers on tap or we're not going.
Right. And there better not be a single domestic on it.
Yeah, no domestics.
Right.
If it as a single domestic, you're not a tap house. You're just a bar with extra taps.
Right. So I think it was on Thursday of that trip. So 5 days in, we've even gone chain at one point. Like, I need to go to Applebee's so I can find like a pale ale. I think we went to Buffalo Wild Wings is what we did.
There you go.
I just need something.
Get some good wings. Good wings at least.
Right. And so I think it was on Thursday. We found like a little Irish pub. And I was like, let's go to that. At the least they'll have
We'll get
whiskey.
some Guinness.
Right.
Yeah.
At the least we'll have some Irish whiskey. And we went there and they had 4 Deschutes on tap.
Oh, nice.
And so in like 5 days of not having a single craft beer, I was like, I'm home.
Yeah. I feel so much better now.
Yeah. They had Black Butte Porter. They had their standard IPA, and they had a couple others. But it was like, that's what I need right now.
Yeah. And still to this day, I put Deschutes Black Butte Porter as kind of like the standard of what a porter should taste like.
Yeah.
Because it's good. It's still a solid one. I obviously I've moved on. I don't get it all the time, but when I go back to it, it's like, you know what? I still appreciate it and I still like it. Because I like trying all kinds of things, and I've tried. I think if you looked at my Untappd profile, I think I'm up to the 5,000s. What am I at now? Unique beers that I've tried, and unique. I'm at 5,731. So I've tried a lot.
You're almost in the 6,000s.
Yeah. 6,000 is my total. That's with dupes. I'm talking unique.
I track them primarily by memory, and I know I'm probably in the 2,000s.
Okay.
I mean, you've been at it a little longer than I have. But,
yeah.
But yeah, like I can tell you, I can't like list every beer that I've had.
No.
But if I see it at a tap house, I go, oh yeah, I've had this. It tastes exactly like this. Like.
See, I can't do that. I even with Untappd, I still get duplicates every once in a while.
Yeah, you've been adamant before that I've never had this beer, and you go, oh, apparently I tried it 3 years ago, and I gave it 4.2. Like,
yeah,
damn.
I'm like, oops. Oh well. Yeah, no, it's you get so many of them, you can't keep track of them all. It's just impossible. So it's great to have an app like this. But yeah, even sometimes I'm like, oh no, that sounds good. I'm pretty sure I've never had that before. Then I get back to my table and I'm like, oh damn, I guess I did have it before. Oh, and I did like it. Well, I guess I don't feel so bad.
Novella asks, do you want me to send you a Moonman Pale from New Glarus? New Glarus, the brewer for Spotted Cow.
For Spotted Cow.
You know, I didn't get a chance to try that one, so yes.
Sure.
Yes. I would love something that's not back sweetened with corn and maybe has a little hop to it. So, yes.
Yeah, because they're super known for their Spotted Cow.
Yeah.
And I've had that one before, but I don't think I've had anything else from them. That's the same thing with the pickle beers that John gets from Martin House. Like he always gets the crazy, weird, bizarre flavors from them because, well, that's good content for his channel. But we've finally had just some normal beer from them, and they're pretty solid. They're just good, solid beer. So, you know, it's not just what they're kind of known for. You should try other things.
Yep. Skull says Moonman is way better than Spotted Cow. I look forward to it then, because I was not impressed. You know what I am impressed with? Clippy's longevity.
That's just, he does not want to die.
Back from the dead from whence he came. Microsoft's Clippy has a new lease on life. Thanks to a major upgrade and a backend of ChatGPT, you can now get Clippy in a modern Windows 11 application. He will still be your guide to, hey, do you need some writing advice or correction with your grammar or things like that? Right. He'll tell you where things are inside of Windows and Microsoft Word and whatnot. But you can also get into the weeds with him and ask him anything. And
some of those existential dread.
Right.
Clippy, how are you feeling? Suicidal or what? Yeah. Can I help you with that? Clippy's got all the deep questions.
I'm in a liminal state between states of being. Not quite dead, not quite alive. It's constant to a permanent state of sleep paralysis.
My eternal pain knows no
Yes.
bounds.
I am suffering.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to Clippy by Firecube. By the way, this is not an official
This is not Microsoft, yeah.
Windows application. It is on the Microsoft Store though. So if you want it, I suggest going and grabbing it.
Right, because
they shut them down for IT.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, because I bet you Microsoft are gonna be like, maybe we should take this down.
Mm-hmm. So to quote the article, Clippy by Firecube uses OpenAI's ChatGPT service to empower Clippy with complex AI abilities. Not only can it help you write a letter like the Clippy of old could, but it can now also answer complex questions, partake in creative writing, help with coding, and so much more. So all the things that ChatGPT has been, making headlines for, being able to, help you write code that gives you the proper output that you're looking for, or start a creative writing piece. Now you have access to ChatGPT directly on your desktop through a widget, but that widget is in the voice of Clippy. And I could not love this anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed. I'm looking at it right now. It only gets 2.9 stars. I don't know what the everyone's gripe is.
Yeah.
Well, okay. There's one star, but it's in Russian, so I think they're just jealous. Needs stupid code that can't be gotten in some. Okay, I don't know. App fails with incorrect exceeded quote error. Okay, so maybe it's just got some bugs to it. That's might be what it is.
I'm sure this was cranked out pretty quickly. Probably not even written by ChatGPT, which it probably should have been. But this comes on the heels after Microsoft recently announced Windows Copilot, its own Windows OS assistant powered by Bing Chat, which is also powered by ChatGPT, that will be launching later this year and arriving in preview first over the summer. Yeah. Hot on the heels of that announcement, we get an unofficial Clippy.
Yeah, I'm downloading it right now. I'm going to go ask him some serious questions.
I'm going to go grab it. I don't grab many App Store things, but
I don't either.
I'm just going to snag it.
Yeah. I find the App Store to be quite clunky and not very usable, but I'm going to use it for this one.
Yes.
Dear Clippy, I'm gonna ask him about his favorite beer.
Sean says, Clippy watching me play SimCity. I see you're trying to kill everyone. Would you like some help with that?
You're trying to get Godzilla to stomp your city. Would you like help with that?
Yeah, Steve, did you ever get too far with watching Star Trek Lower Decks?
Oh yeah, I watched all of it.
Cool. So you know Badgie.
Yes, I know Badgie. Yes, Badgie was obviously.
Can I teach you a lesson?
Yeah, he's a Clippy reference. Absolutely.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh wait, there's Clippy. Hello there. Oh, it says you need a valid open. Okay, so there's some kind of key that's not.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, you need an API key because you have to pay for machine time on ChatGPT.
Right. So this is not working.
Yeah.
That's probably where all the bad ratings are coming from.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh well. Clippy's dead again.
Yep. He's not animated either. What?
No, he's just there. That? Yeah, he's supposed to be animated.
That is such a disappointment.
He's not doing anything. Yeah. All right.
He would untwist himself and twist.
Like, yeah. He would all kinds of stuff.
He would conform into shapes to answer your questions. Like that was the whole charm of him.
Yeah, he would turn into like a pencil shape or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. He'd get bored and like turn himself into a stick and then bounce back. It was great.
Yeah.
Clippy. To be around in the 90s at Clippy's heyday. It was glorious.
That was the pinnacle of society right there. You knew everything was going to be all right because Clippy was there.
I think they got it right in The Matrix. Welcome to the Height of Humanity, 1999.
Yeah, they weren't too far off. I mean, you still had screensavers, and Clippy was there.
Yep.
You know, it couldn't get much better than that.
all the racists were still underground. Like, it all worked out, right?
Yeah. This Clippy was keeping everything together, and once he went away, it just all went to shit.
Clippy was the glue that binds.
He was. It was all him.
He was the paperclip of society, if you will.
Yeah, it was. Did you know?
Aaron says, I've been calling my large language models Bad Clippy forever.
Bad Clippy?
That's good. Oh, that's funny. But no, if you guys haven't seen the Lower Decks, I think it's season 2 episodes.
Where they did Badgie.
Of Badgie. He creates an assistant to help him write training simulations in the holodeck. And Badgie comes on and goes, "Hi, can I teach you a lesson?" And by the way, voiced by Jack Breyer. And holy crap, he's great. But then the holodeck safeties get turned off. And so Badgie can now do whatever he wants. And so he then turns around and goes, "Hi, can I teach you a lesson?"
Yeah.
In the homicidal maniac kind of way. So great.
So it's the best play on the classic TNG where the holodeck goes rogue trope.
Yeah.
They're definitely playing on that, and the Clippy thing kind of got multiple levels on it. Pretty good episode.
Yeah.
Would recommend.
Yeah. So into the episode, he ends up killing Clippy, snapping his neck and whatnot. No! There's a huge dramatic scene. In a later episode, Clippy is trying to kill him. And he goes, "What?" Or Badgie. I keep calling him Clippy.
Badgie.
Badgie's trying to kill him, and he goes, "Why, Badgie?" "Because you broke my neck!"
You killed me. It's only fair I kill you.
Right. Ah, so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Far Cry, the original 2004 Far Cry. Source code has launched and leaked. I say launched, leaked. Online. This is not like a beta build or anything like that. This is actually a pretty late development build. This is version 1.34.
Yeah.
So there's been a number of different outlets that have looked at it. In particular, Vinicius Medeiros. I know I'm butchering that. I apologize. And the general consensus is this is not a 100% complete source build top to bottom, but it's really close.
Yeah.
Like they're probably 98% of the way there, with only a couple missing dependencies here and there to like be able to recompile the game.
Yeah. Compile it completely. Yeah.
So, from an educated guess, this is some source tree leak from the PC version of the game to add support for the Ubisoft game launcher and DRM, posits one commenter on the archive.org website. And you can download it on archive.org right now. So if, forensic analysis of almost 20-year-old games is kind of your jam, then hey, here it is. It does contain executables, but no Xbox code and no game assets. The code that is there doesn't compile without 332 errors. So I think you could get some debug PC version of the game running if you put in the effort and learnt the code base. Direct quote. So it won't compile. There's some errors. There's some missing things. But if you compare it to a debug version on PC, you might be able to get the rest of the way there. Right. If you're good at like reverse engineering this type of stuff.
Well, it looks like it's a Visual C++. So you gotta get the older version of Visual Studio. Probably open it up.
Right.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
If you have to know C++ as well, and the CryEngine probably.
Yeah, probably some things about CryEngine in there, and direct calls to APIs within the engine. But yeah, if you're someone who likes to dabble in this kind of stuff, or now obviously you can't take this and make your own game and call it your own, and
No.
you can't steal assets and things like that. But at the same time, looking back 20 years at game code, it's definitely something we can learn from today, and I do.
Oh yeah,
I do like when things like this drops.
It was always amazing to me. I think it's just been a huge explosion of schlock that's gotten put on Steam. I love Steam. I mean, I got a huge Steam library. I love it. But their philosophy of just letting any piece of garbage on there, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. Yes, you can go and explore and find all kinds of things that you normally wouldn't ever play, that wouldn't ever bubble up to the surface. You can find that hidden gem that's out there that's really great. But because of it, you got such sloppy development going on out there, where even like some rudimentary game eats up like your CPU. You know, it just it's you got amateurs coding out there.
Yeah.
Going back and looking at older code where people were able to get the most out of the hardware. They really tried to optimize things, worked at it really hard. I mean, I remember some of the little contests that they used to have where they tried to create a game in the smallest bite size they could. There was some guy that made like I think a first person shooter in like 10K or something like that. It was ridiculous. I forget what it was, but it was like they used to do these things just for fun, you know. And they don't do that so much anymore. And there's not much optimization going on. It seems to be there's no limit to.
Well, there's a lot less, and part of that is because there's so much overhead or there's so much power available in modern hardware.
You don't have to. You can
fudge some things.
Right? Yeah, you don't have to work at it.
You're not working within finite memory address spaces anymore.
Correct. Right. Exactly. And so that's why we have like 100 gig downloads for games, 100 gig plus download for games. It's like, we don't need to compress. We don't need to do any tricks here. We don't need to do anything like that.
Part of that is uncompressed audio.
Yes, no, that's true. Especially when they do multiple languages.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't want to hear them speaking in Azerbaijan. You know, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I just want English. Just give me English.
One of the things with Call of Duty is, I guess, like 80% of one of the 200 gig downloads of one of the modern Call of Duties is uncompressed audio. So 160 gigs of your 200 gig game download is audio files.
Yeah,
which sounds insane and is insane.
It is insane.
And their justification is, well, we could compress them, but then you'd have to decompress them, and you'd have to have a codec on your. What CPU doesn't have a codec for decompressing audio files on the fly?
Yeah, it does it all the time.
It's literally one of the standard operating procedures. Part of SSE instruction sets is decompression of audio files. So that's a crap excuse. I think one of the biggest things that game companies are doing is purposely finding ways to inflate their game. Number one, to inflate their quality. Look, we have 200 gigs of game assets. Of course, this is going to be an amazing,
good one.
Game.
So much there, yeah.
Number two, if you only have 160 gigs or 250 gigs available on an Xbox, and you download a 160 gig download of Call of Duty, you don't have space to install anything else. So
you got to kick somebody else. Yeah, you got to kick somebody else out, and they're like, "Well, I don't got anything else on here, so let's go put that on there."
I think there's some shenanigans going on there.
Yeah, I think there are too. They're making a lot of excuses for that. Because like I said, they used to be able to squeeze so much out of that when they put effort and heart into their development, and that seems to be sorely lacking nowadays. And so going back and looking at the code, seeing what they used to do, I don't know, might give some inspiration. Might get people thinking about pushing the envelope a little bit more, because there really hasn't been a crisis, really, not recently anyway.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, yeah, but I mean,
Crisis for all of the meme worthiness of, can it run Crisis and things like that.
Yeah.
Part of it was because it used APIs that were absolutely cutting edge and were unoptimized and literally needed brute force to be able to run consistently. It melted even modern systems, and because it used uncompressed textures and because it used all these other aspects of it, it needed all of the video memory, all of your CPU cycles. Number one, it was also very poorly coded as far as the CPU cycle thing goes. It was not multi-threaded enhanced in the least, because dual core, shocker, in 2006 wasn't necessarily at the forefront of technology.
No. Hardly anybody had it.
Right. Everyone was still rocking single core CPUs, sometimes hyper-threaded with 2 threads, but that was it. And so there was no real incentive to implement anything more. So I'm going to sneeze. It's just a matter of when. I've been feeling it for like a minute, and it's getting worse every time I breathe.
You're supposed to look up at a light, and it's supposed to initiate the sneeze.
Steve, do you not think I have lights shining directly
no,
at me
I can
at all
see
times?
it reflecting. That's probably why you're getting the sneeze.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I am an autophotic sneezer. If you know what that is.
Autophotic.
It's when I transition from dark to light environments, it will cause me to sneeze. There's nothing in my nose. It's just when I walk outside, I'll sneeze 2 or 3 times.
So if you go to like a rave where it's flashing lights, do you like just
the flashing lights don't do it? The flashing lights don't do it.
Okay.
It's I'm in my basement right now. If the sun was still out and I walked out my front door and the sun was shining and I walked directly into sunlight and my eyes needed to dilate, it will cause me to sneeze.
Oh, so it's the dilation that does it.
They're actually not entirely sure what mechanic causes it, but it's when exposed to super bright light, you will sneeze. I'm one of those people. I'll walk outside, and if it's a bright sunny day and I don't have sunglasses on, I'll
yeah.
Okay, I'm good now. It's just
that's something that just happens.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Allergic to light.
Allergic to light. Yeah, that's the joke.
Allergic to light. You're kind of slightly vampirish.
Yep.
It doesn't kill you. It just makes you sneeze.
I also black out if I injure any of my phalanges, any of my fingers or toes.
Really?
Yes. Like there's a tunnel coming in, and
like how severe of an injury? We talking like just smashing a little bit, or like
smashing a little bit, a little bit of blood. Like the first time it happened to me, I was working for a grocery chain, and we were changing the reader board out front. Before they had like electronic reader boards.
Yeah.
We had to get on a ladder and change out the letters individually.
Change the letters, yes.
I was doing that. Anyway, so we had a large extension ladder that went up. So it was like a 15-foot ladder and then an extension section that popped up to get the extra 5 feet or so. Well, I put the ladder up and then it didn't hook. And so the 5 feet of ladder came crashing down onto my thumb. Down.
Oh, yeah.
And split my thumbnail right in 2. Didn't break anything.
Yeah.
But
just split the nail.
It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah.
And my manager's standing right there and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Oh yeah, no, I just hurt my thumb. Not a big deal. Like, it hurts, but it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. A little blood. I'll go wrap it up. I'll be fine." Yeah. So I walk back into the store, and as soon as I walk into the store, I get this like little vignette.
Like, oh yes, no, I know what that. There's like a tunnel that comes.
Just that tunnel that starts closing, and and I went, "Oh, that's not good." And I remember like right inside the front door was like this little manager's office where you like cash checks and crap. And there's a little half door there, and I pushed the half door open and I grabbed the wall and I just like rode it to the ground. And I blacked out for like 30 seconds.
Wow.
And it's not like a pain thing, because I've been in way more pain than that. Yeah. It's literally my body will go into shock momentarily from just fingers, toes, maybe like a really bad one on my hand. It instigates shock in my body. And I hadn't heard of this with anyone else, but Adam Savage talked about it one day. He does the same thing. Yeah.
He has the same thing.
And what's funny is his mom knows, so because his mom will hang around the shop with him, and she knows if he goes, "Ah!" and whatnot, and he grabs a finger, he's going to black out.
Get the mattress.
Right.
Get the mattress.
And my wife knows now, if I'm out working in the garage, and whatnot, and I walk in and I go, and I yell her name, she'll come running, and because she knows I'm going to pass out in like 15 seconds. Yeah. I just know. It's just something that happens.
You got all these mattresses in the garage everywhere, just in case. Right. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, we're
going to fall over.
Line the house with padded walls, just in case from now on. Yeah. So yeah, just little oddities. All
from now on, the floors are trampolines. There's trampolines everywhere. That's what we got.
Oh no, I've already got the bad back. I don't need more trampolines. Good God.
Oh yeah. So just cracking your knuckles aggressively, it doesn't do it.
It's got to be, there has to be blood or at least a blunt force trauma of some kind.
Okay.
I could list a dozen times that it's happened. In fact, there's one right there.
Yeah.
That was it.
Did that one cause you to pass out?
It did. It caused the tunnel to close in. I didn't quite black out, but it was close.
Yeah.
But this was my drill attempting a degloving. If I'm being perfectly honest, I was augering out some holes in some brackets that I had to put in. The holes were a fifth of a millimeter too narrow to fit the bolts that I needed to get in. So I grabbed my drill bit and my drill and was pressing them into a block of wood and making sure I'm doing it properly. And, the bracket's secure. I'm going straight down. All I need to do is just take out that little bit of material.
Just a little bit.
But I had to do this for like 30 brackets. I'm going through the process and whatnot. Well, bracket like 23 or something like that.
You get lazy because you're doing it over and over. Yeah.
I was trying not to, but it happened. Either I lost strength or something happened.
Yeah.
Somewhere around like 23, the drill bit grabbed the material that I was doing, spun the bracket around. The bracket is an L bracket, wrapped around my finger, and literally like slipped off the cuticle of my nail. And had it been a little higher, would have taken like the glove with it. It hooked and it hooked hard. And I immediately went, God, that was stupid. I got lazy. That was stupid.
Yeah.
like it was just one of those. Like, it doesn't even hurt that much.
Yeah, I know.
But you just know.
You just do it. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only experienced that like maybe a couple times. And it's usually like G-forces. But of course, that happens to a lot of people. It's like there's some roller coasters I've been on where they pull out of a big dip or something like that, and then I can see the tunnels like coming in, and then it goes right back.
Yeah.
But I've never passed out from it. So
yeah, I don't get anything with G-forces. In fact, I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie when it comes to fast cars and bikes and things like that.
Oh yeah, no, I love it too. But like too high of a G-force I'll start feeling that tunnel vision.
No, I've done all kinds of things from the zero G moon, trainers and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, leave me on. I'm good.
No, I love those things too, but I can't get too crazy.
Right. No, I'm like, turn it up. I'm good. Let's go. Yeah. But then like, I broke a nail.
Whoop. Bonk.
Check, please.
See, that's why you were born in the wrong time. If you were like living in space, then it wouldn't matter. You could just pass out and you just float.
Just float, yeah.
Just float away.
Not gonna hurt anything. Right.
Not gonna hurt anything. Yeah.
Aaron says, damn it, man, now all I can think of is the Third Rock from the Sun sneezing episode. There's a callback.
Yeah, Third Rock from the Sun, John Lithgow.
Yeah. God, that was such a good one. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, Jane Curtin was in there.
Curtin, yeah. That show had so much power.
It did. I think it went out. It was like quite a few seasons. I want to say like
6 or 7. I think.
6 or 7. Yeah.
Incoming message from the big giant head.
Yes. Yeah.
Such a good
Rock from the Sun. Yeah. Let me see. 2001. Finally. 6 seasons. Yeah. 6 seasons.
Yeah. So like 95 through 01.
Yeah.
Okay.
96 to 01.
96 to 01. Okay.
Yeah. 96 to 01. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a good one.
No, I watched that one quite a bit. I don't see
Anyway,
too many reruns of that one. Anyway.
no, I do have it on my Plex server, so
Mm.
there is that. Tech Geek sends over $50. Thank you very much.
Tech Geek, that's so nice.
YouTube is being weird. Messaging coming. I have no idea what. But then he says, just got done with work. I'll rewatch the beginning of this later, spending the next couple days prepping for a speed cubing competition. First within driving distance in almost 4 years. Cheers, guys. Speed cubing. Speed cubing. I feel like I've heard that before.
Oh, like Rubik's Cube thing?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, Rubik's. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now wait, wasn't the ill-fated submarine trip? I heard that the kid that went down there, the son, he was gonna go down there and do the Guinness Book of World Record of the lowest
Rubik's Cube?
Rubik's Cube solved. Just take a Rubik's Cube with him. I think that's what it was. I think I remember hearing that somewhere.
I don't. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Michael says blood and gore don't bother me. Now Vertigo, I can get that on a 6-foot ladder. Blood and gore don't bother me. They don't bother me at all. I don't. I've had some pretty gnarly injuries before, and remained fully lucid. But it's just my fingers and toes that will cause it. It will cause my body to just jump into shock. I've taken a kickback from an industrial saw into my hip and knocked me off my feet. Like I've taken some pretty good hits and whatnot, and I didn't go into shock. But I stubbed my toe in just the right way, and down I go.
Yeah, you go. It's like the smallest thing.
Yep.
Oh, wait, hold on. Speaking of which, I should have had this by my desk. I have the infamous.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I can control subs now. This has power. This means something.
You got to get the 3D printed joystick extensions. So
I got to put
movements.
the extenders on them. That's right. Yeah.
I can make you those if you want.
No, I found 19-year-old who died Titanic sub brought a Rubik's Cube with him to in a bid to break the world record. So yeah, that's he did do that.
Oh yeah, William Shatner has the big giant head.
Oh, was that William Shatner?
I forgot about that. I'd forgotten he did that. Yeah.
I forgot that too.
Mike says, whoa, yeah, thanks for the reminder of the dangers of power tools. Don't forget snips, simple snips. Had a piece of plastic flying into my eye. Couldn't blink in time. Felt like someone punched my eye. Yeah, no, tools are no joke. And, I always try to be safety first whenever I'm doing things. But I will say, as a consequence of being a tall guy, having more reach and more leverage than some others might be afforded, I also get into some awkward positions when I'm trying to do things, because instead of getting squared up, I'll lean over something to do something, because I can reach it. I can reach something that's 4 feet away from me, when the average person maybe 2.5. Like my arms go forever. It's led to me hurting myself in some spectacular ways, whether it be like back injuries or things like that. But no, always respect the tools, and always make sure you're in the proper position and form. Like that is one thing that's grossly understated.
Oh yeah.
As far as like workplace injuries and injuries with tools, is make sure you're in full control of your equipment and in the right position to operate it properly. So yes, I can fully get behind that statement.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I got I don't know when my dad ever showed this to me, but he showed me the trick where you can take like a tin can and punch a little hole at the top.
You did the bottle rock,
and it was a firecracker. I put a firecracker, and then you put it in some water, and then it creates a vacuum and it just goes straight up. I thought that was the neatest thing ever, and so I was like, I can do this. This is easy. And so I made it myself, and then we're out in the backyard with my friends, and we're lighting off fireworks, watching this thing go up. And then I did, like you said, instead of like leaning over and lighting it, I went directly over the top of it and lit it. And it just happened to be a firecracker with a short fuse. Smacked me right in the head.
Yep.
Just
a tin can at 180
like,
miles an hour will leave a mark.
Blood was like I came in looking like, you know, Carrie from the movie, just blood dripping down my face. It was pretty grotesque. My mom freaked out, but I was like,
yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I find myself doing that all the time, overreaching for things, bending for things when I should just take a step to the side. And it is kind of a tall guy problem, and it's why a lot of tall people end up with repetitive stress injuries more than anyone else, is because I don't have to stand up and take a step to the side to reach this thing. I can just
do like this. Yeah.
Right. You know, reaching across something is nothing for me because I have 12 inches more reach than the average person on each side. And that's before I even lean. Like, my arms are just that long.
You could lean a little bit more and you could like, I can go across the room.
Right.
Jeff, get the remote for me. It's over there across the room. All right. Oh, there you go.
That's a constant thing when we're going to bed is, where's the remote at? Hold on, I got it.
All right.
There it is.
Of course, you overextending like.
Why would I sit up just to find the remote? Like, that seems stupid,
that's ridiculous.
Right? I'm already comfortable.
That's for plebs.
Yeah.
Come on.
But, you know, when using a drill, you're supposed to be on top or parallel to or perpendicular to the force of the drill. I've gotten in situations before where it's like, oh, I can reach that thing with the drill, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know, I'm at this angle instead of this angle. You know, I'm not square to it anymore.
You're not square to it because it's an awkward angle. Or just like, I'll just do it anyway.
Jeff has Groot arms. I'm 6'4", and my fingers reach my knees when I'm standing straight up. Okay. Yep. +1 for passing out from random injury. Learned young to sit down just in case. Yeah. Literally, I will tell my wife that I'm going out to work in the garage. Hey, I'm gonna go do this thing.
Right.
Just in case. And it's just something I do anymore because I don't want to. 99% of the time, even if I do black out, I'm gonna be fine. Like, I might wake up with a little extra blood because I didn't pinch something off, but you know, I'm gonna be fine. I'm not gonna die because it's going into shock, but it's a fairly slow process. It takes like a minute or two before it truly sets in.
So once you know, you can prep. You can just be like, all right, I'm gonna go just lay on the cement floor for a second.
Right. No, I've done that before. I was over at my in-laws' house, and they had some metal bracket that had been bent at, like, hit it with a car or something like that. I'm like, oh, I can hammer that out, and you know, we'll make it work again. So I'm on the garage floor, and I've got a dead blow hammer, and I'm, you know, working very slowly, trying to make this thing square and true again. And same kind of thing, where I hit the bracket, but this time, instead of like righting itself, it decided to flip itself over and jam right on top of my thumb with the full force of a dead blow behind it. And so I this hurts, like force-wise. Hold on.
Yeah.
This hurts. This is worse. This is the worst. And this is how it worst.
Yeah.
And so the bracket folded over and went like this with the dead blow on top of it. And again, like, you know, put a gnarly mark into the side of my thumb. I'm bleeding. And I grabbed it and I pinched it. And I went, I'm going to stop bleeding. Now I'm going to walk into the house. So I calmly kind of got up, opened the door, and yelled my wife's name. And I walked over to the sink, and I'm just like washing it off. She goes, how bad? And
I'm like,
and I went, well, I'm going to go down. And she goes, okay, sit down. And so she got me a paper towel, and I just grabbed that, and I'm just holding it. And sure enough, after like another 90 seconds, I just kind of,
take a little nap.
Like, I'm just gonna nod off for a minute.
Yeah. That's crazy. I just like get a hammer and you're like, I'm gonna take a power nap and just smash your thumb. Give me a second. Taking a power nap.
Oh, gee. Aaron says, Lithgow and Shatner both saw something on the wing. Totally forgot about that. The same thing happened to me.
Oh, that's right, they did. Yeah, that's right, they did. That's right. It was both Twilight Zone.
Oh, that's so good.
That is right. That's right.
Anyway, it's now 7 past the hour. I think that's a good place as any to call this one.
Sure.
Thank you so much for watching episode 292 here on Craft Computing Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure to drop this video a like. Comment. Let us know what you thought about the various shenanigans on this show. Let us know what you want to hear more of. We're always looking for new topics, not necessarily news stories, but discussions you'd like to hear. Maybe discussing the finer points of benchmark methodology.
Yeah, no, tech related, gaming related. Heck, even a couple times we talked about food and cooking. I mean, yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm a multi-interest individual. Like I can like more than one thing. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Time to hit that like if you haven't done so already, right? And speaking of multi-interest, like I'm kind of a closet motorized bike junkie. Like I love super small engines on super small things, making them go really fast.
Mini bikes.
Yeah. Not even pit bikes, but like motorized bicycles.
Okay.
And so I built one 7 years ago, something like that. A little 49cc job, and it did all right. It would get up to like 29, 28 miles, or 25, 28 miles an hour, somewhere right in there.
Not bad, yeah.
But never quite did what I wanted it to do. I wanted it for like a trail riding bike, and it never quite had the low end torque to be able to like pull me up a hill at more than like a mile or two an hour. And I was like, it's kind of boring. Well, I guess there's a new engine that's been out and finally refined, the Phantom 85, and it's an 85cc, but it's like tuned. And I have that kit on the way, and I'm gonna build myself a brand new motorized bike because
there it is.
So I've always wanted one of those. Do I watch 100% Jake? Of course, I watch 100% Jake. I watch JR Go. Obviously the big ones. You've got Hoovy. You've got BS for Builds right here in my area. Chris is right here in Portland. So, I'm definitely an automotive junkie. Just with, have I heard of the Lifan 125? Of course, I love that motor. If this bike doesn't do exactly what I want it to do with the 85cc two-stroke, and I'm trying to do everything learning from mistakes and experience on building my previous one, the next thing that I want to do is I want to build my own frame based off the Motoped bikes from about like 8 years ago. So there was a company called Motoped, and I know we're getting into the weeds here. They made kind of like the quintessential multi-purpose moped. It was a bicycle with a radical frame to it, where it was just like this giant A-tube, and then a motor mounted under it. And then that motor happened to also interface with a crankset for your pedals. And so you could pedal this motorcycle. But it was also built with like downhill bike parts and motorcycle wheels, like dirt bike wheels. And so, but they were using like 125cc Lifan engines and getting like, 12, 15, 18 horsepower out of them. And taking, these ultralight bicycles that you could still pedal but they were only like 70 pounds fully built. But they also had like legit 125cc four strokes on them. And I always wanted one. They were never quite in my price range. And then Motoped decided, we're just going to become a bike reseller now. And instead of making our own really cool thing, we're just going to sell like Hawk 150s and things like that. It sucks now. But they had some really cool designs. They had some off-road ones. They had a survivalist bike, which had everything from like a crossbow and a jerry can on it.
Wow. It's like a zombie apocalypse bike.
It was a zombie apocalypse bike. Look it up. Motoped Survivalist.
Motoped Survivalist.
MOTOPED Survivalist. It's the coolest bicycle that's ever existed. Like, bar none.
Motoped Survivalist bike. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a sweet looking,
right?
That looks like steampunk bike almost.
But
that's crazy.
But it's totally zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
it's you know, like I said, it's that Lifan 125cc. It's got a jack shaft that interfaces your crank right here. And so your motor can actually drive a 4-speed transmission or engage the gearing on your bike wheel as well. You got dual jerry cans, one for water, one for fuel. You've got everything. They had models that would like sell with a crossbow, and like your survival spade, shovel, axe, saw combo. But the really cool thing is, little 1-gallon tank, you could go 80 miles on a tank.
Wow!
And when you ran out of gas, you could still pedal the damn thing.
Yeah, that's right. You can keep going.
But you can see this frame design where it's just this really thick bar right there, with a little bracket that comes down to a top motor mount, and then 2 more on the bottom. There's no under frame to this. That's the entire bike frame right there. And then all you do is put a swing arm and a downhill set of forks on it. It's not that difficult. And so if my new motorized bike project doesn't work out, I kind of want to replicate one of these. I want to build one of these from scratch.
I mean, they still sell them. You got to find them for sale.
They don't sell them anymore. The website is still...
You got to find them used.
You got to find them used. The website is still live, and they do still provide support parts for bikes that they sold. So they still do have a backstock of some parts. But if you want one, they used to be like $2,500, like if you bought one new.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now they're like $4,000 and up because they're so unique and so rare.
Yep. They are pretty cool looking.
So I always wanted one, and like I said, if this project doesn't do what I want, which is, you know, pull me in my 200+ pound frame plus the bike up a hill at a reasonable tick. Like I want to be doing 45 uphill and 50 to 60 on the flats. Like, because that's what I expect a trail bike to do. That's what my 250cc dirt bike does. That's what I expect this to do at half the weight and half the displacement.
Right.
So yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I have other interests too. I can talk about lots of things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.